Alright then, just got done watching Hell in a Cell 2012, and I guess I'm going to give my opinion on it. Now I'm going to give kind of an incomplete opinion on the first match, because I was very busy most of the day trying to fix my car, so I actually ended up coming in kind of late to the first match, which was Randy Orton versus Alberto Del Rio. From the bit I saw, it was actually pretty cool, and I actually really liked that they tried to bring some more like humorous or bring some more charismatic elements out of Alberto Del Rio, and it was interesting to actually see Orton trying to sell something. But the match, as far as I saw, it was good, at least. You know, Randy Orton got over won over Alberto Del Rio after a pretty good ending where ADR tried to go for the Enziguri, but missed the kick. And because of the way the momentum goes on his top rope vaulting Enziguris, Randy Orton managed to go into a position where he actually hit him with the RKO, and that was actually pretty cool how the way they did that. It should be worth watching at least for that ending. Next match was Daniel Bryan and Kane versus Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow. This was a TV match, pretty much. You know, like you see you see tag matches on TV. This is pretty much what you expect. It's more noteworthy to see the promo that Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow did in their entrance, where they just kept mocking the "We are the tag team champions" sort of shtick. The match ends with Kane beating on Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow too much, so they get DQ'd. This is a good way to actually get the feud, you know, elongated. Although I do think it kind of diminishes the value of that whole tournament they just did. But I do like that WWE is actually now starting to get a tag team division, as opposed to the past few years where it's just been completely barren except for a few teams. But yeah, the match was nothing special. I gave it a 6 out of 10, which is my way of saying TV match. Next match, Kofi Kingston versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I'm not a fan that they chose to make Kofi Kingston win the title on, you know, a new show they aired. But I did at least like this match between him and Miz. I like that both of them actually pulled off a lot of offense that they don't normally do, and I like that they're trying to pull a more offensive side out of Kofi Kingston. It's probably the biggest push he's gotten in a while. He's gotten a bunch of title reigns that don't really mean much because they just kept being against Dolph Ziggler, who he's already faced way too much. But against somebody like Miz is actually kind of refreshing, and I like the way they actually pulled out the ending for both of this. But the match, I'd say, was good. Nothing special, just good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Next match was Antonio Cesaro versus Justin Gabriel. Again, I would call this pretty much a TV match. This is for the United States Championship, and again, I like that Justin Gabriel actually did manage to put in some offense and actually did have some moments where he could look good against Antonio Cesaro, but yeah, it really, not much actually happened. Gave it a 6 out of 10. Antonio Cesaro retains. The next match was Cara and Rey Mysterio versus Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. This wasn't like a phenomenal match or anything. It was just nice to see that Darren Young and Titus O'Neil actually got, you know, to look good in this match. But again, this is sort of above average for a TV match. It's that sort of shtick. So far, I would actually call this card rather unremarkable. That's sort of the big problem with here. Like, there's not really big flaws in any of the matches. It's just that, well, except for maybe that one botch ADR really messed up in during that Randy Orton match. But the problem with this match is just not that it's that bad or anything. It's just kind of unremarkable. It just kind of feels like Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio did their thing. Titus O'Neil and Darren Young got to look somewhat good against them. Millions of dollars. Rey Mysterio wins, gets the pin. The ending, near the end, I think Sin Cara got a double concussion. Yeah, he botched a flip over reverse DDT and landed on his head, and it looked like he got a pretty bad concussion. And when he later did a plancha to the outside, he was just staying down for a while. So I think he may need to take some time off. Match, nothing particularly special. I gave it a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10. Next match was Sheamus versus The Big Show. This match was all about the second half. The first half was actually pretty boring. Admittedly, it is kind of nice to see Sheamus getting beaten down for an extended period of time for once, as opposed to being, you know, usually very, usually just very, you know, one-sided matches. But the slow beginning of the match actually kind of made way to a very good second half where they actually did manage. Both Big Show and Sheamus actually did manage to pull off some really impressive offense. When he hit white noise on Big Show, I thought that was it. You know, so everything after that actually did really impress me. And another thing I need to comment, the crowd for this entire night was actually pretty dead. They just came alive for a few people. And one thing that actually did bring them alive was when Sheamus did white noise. But anyway, Sheamus goes for the bro kick. Oh, I know. Big Show hits the punch on Sheamus. Sheamus gets knocked out, gets pinned, kicks out at 2. Sheamus hits Big Show with a bro kick. Big Show kicks out at 2. Sheamus goes for another bro kick. Big Show does a hilarious dodging twirl, and in the process, punches Sheamus, knocks him out, and he gets the pin. So your winner and new champion, Big Show. And I was kind of expecting Dolph Ziggler to come out, but yes, refreshingly, he didn't come out. Which is actually kind of weird because they kind of teased that he was going to. Well, actually, no, they outright said he was going to at one point. But yeah, I guess he's not. I actually kind of liked this match. Again, the second half is what saved it. The first half I thought was really dull, but the second half really did save it. And it's better to have a better second half than it is to have a better first half. Because at least it ended on a high note. I gave it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. I didn't call it the incredible match that the announcers were calling it. I'd say it was a really good finish, though. That twirling punch, that was hilarious. Next match was Eve Torres versus Layla versus Kaitlyn. A lot of the offense these girls put in was actually really surprising. But the match wasn't particularly great. This is actually a very good example of how like a really weak crowd can actually really hurt a match, because I just couldn't get into it because none of the crowd could get into it. A lot of these girls actually did try a lot of impressive offense, and it just wouldn't get over. And it's actually kind of sad that happened, because I think if the girls got more feedback from the crowd, they probably could have had it put on a better match, because you saw a lot of moments of like, oh wow, that was really good, but you know, it just ultimately got kind of buried under mediocrity, and they just couldn't get it to work. Eve retains after missing a swanton that was supposed to interrupt a pin, and she pins the girl who was already getting pinned. Yeah, she retains. A match with nothing really special in it. I gave it a 5 out of 10. And finally to the main event. The only match in a Hell in a Cell in the pay-per-view titled Hell in a Cell. Seriously, they really should just give this a new name. I say No Mercy should come back. That was a pretty good pay-per-view name. Main event, CM Punk versus Ryback. For a main event, it actually did not go on for that long. But yeah, this match was better than I expected. I expected kind of a Goldberg-esque squash match, but they actually did manage to put in some offense. But again, it kind of had that TV feeling where it was kind of short, the ending was screwy, and it went more towards building up the babyface more than anything. But the match itself wasn't bad. I actually kind of liked it. It had some really cool moments, and I liked some of the weapon usage, and I actually did like that Ryback and CM Punk both had to pull out some different offense. The ending is what makes this match, though. The ending is hilarious. What happened is, like, Ryback's beating down on CM Punk, sets him up for the shell shock finisher. The ref just goes in front of Ryback for no reason and says, "Stop!" And then Ryback just started yelling at him. The ref kneels down, gives Ryback a low blow. CM Punk rolls him up, ref fast counts. And, like, Ryback loses. CM Punk's trying to get out. Paul Heyman's trying to get the cell open. Ryback gets pissed off, attacks CM Punk, attacks the referee, which is hilarious. For some reason, the referee reminded me of Bischoff, but it doesn't look like his son Garrett. CM Punk tries to escape. It's on top of the cell. Ryback hits the shell shocked on CM Punk on top of the cell. I was actually, I think a lot of people were kind of thinking, oh shit, is he going to throw him off? Dude, I would have been fucking worried if he, you know, tried to throw CM Punk off the cell. The cell, for some reason, is now like twice as tall. So I'm like, dude, I would have been so fucking worried for CM Punk if he did fall. But, yeah, match was good. It was kind of a nice way to end the show. But the sort of problem about this whole thing was, it's not bad. It's just nothing stood out that much. You know, as many little moments as they had and as many little things as they tried to do, I just don't think this pay-per-view stood out enough. Or who knows, maybe I'm still riding on high from Bound for Glory 2012, which I had probably the only match that rivals Undertaker versus Shawn versus Triple H for possible match of the year candidate. And who knows, maybe I'm just being biased. By the way, instant way to improve the Divas matches, get a sexy diva and put her in the referee gown, referee outfit for every match. Instant rating boost for everything. It's working for TNA, I think. Actually, I don't know if it's working for TNA, but whatever. Overall rating. Again, nothing remarkable. No momentum really got. They didn't really take the ball and roll with it at any point. It just kind of felt like I sat down and just watched something. Now, that sounds kind of insane, but it's like I didn't jump out at my seat. I didn't I didn't feel like I was watching a pay-per-view. It is probably the best way I can put this. How would I rate this overall? Not bad. Largely unremarkable. Nothing really stood out in terms of bad or good. Gave it a 6 out of 10. It's like something you'd see on TV. Except it is pretty much a D show. Again, I wouldn't say bad or anything. Would I recommend really anything in particular from this? Not really. The best match was probably Sheamus versus Big Show. If you hate Sheamus and just want to see him get his ass whooped, watch that. It's probably your best bet, but that's about it. This has been Mr. Sanders. I hope you've enjoyed watching this.